Alrighty guys, let's go ahead and check out the endgame of Torchlight Infinite. So, once you complete the campaign, you'll basically just go through it and you'll end up at this location over here. So at this location, what we're going to be doing at the Hideout Embers Rest is we're going to go to the right and there's going to be these set of portals that we can go through. So we'll go ahead and open it up and I'll show you what it looks like. So there's going to be different zones. Now as you progress, you will need to unlock these zones. You'll see that this one requires 12 of these things called cinders. So these cinders need to be acquired to actually unlock the area. It's almost kind of like a difficulty, but each one of these has a difficulty in itself. So you can see we have 7 over here. And how we get more of these cinders is we just do the maps. So I'm going to click on one of these maps and I'll show you how it works. So a lot of these will be able to be selected. We can modify maps and we can select different things to make it more difficult. There's also what's called a time mark, which will actually increase the difficulty as well. So you can see if we select time mark 1 over here, it will change the level of the area. So it basically makes the area harder. Now you'll also see on the right side there's a 0 out of 6. What this means is we have to do 6 maps in this area to then spawn in the boss and actually fight the boss. I'm just going to go over here. We'll just do a really quick one because this one I know is really fast. So I'm just going to do a map and I'll show you guys basically what it looks like. It's similar to a lot of other systems. You can see these drops over here. So what you can do with some of these other items is be able to modify other things. We'll get into that maybe later. But for the most part, when you go in, it will cost what's called a beacon. You can actually put 3 of the same tier beacon to go up 1 rank in beacon. This is basically the other time marks. Over here you can see where it says this beacon can be used in the glacial plane of time mark 1 and 2. So to go higher, you're going to need higher ones. It's basically like a map tier system. So let's go ahead and just go to next step. And you can see over here, if I move my face out of the way because it's blocking it, you can see there is a base affix. And so we get plus extra drop quantity and rarity. But if I want to reroll, we can have this button over here is a reroll, but you can see how many rerolls we have over here. So that's the difference with the maps. Let's go ahead and open up a map and we'll go ahead and do one map. So once you open up the portal, you actually have to go here and then open it up. Alright, so we will have several tries to go ahead and complete this. I believe it's 6 tries. So if you do die, that's it. Like if you die 6 times. So we're just going to go ahead and leap slam our way to the boss and basically show off the map system here. I'll just go ahead and run through it relatively quick. You don't have to kill a bunch of enemies. I know some of you guys may have played, let's say Torchlight 3, where they have like certain objectives that you need to do. You do not need to do them in this. But make sure you do pick up the beacons, as that's basically your way of getting into maps in terms of sustain, which is quite important. You also see that there are purple enemies on the map, and if you do kill them, you can activate this effect and it will spawn in more enemies. So go ahead and just eliminate this group over here. Pick up this helmet.
Is that all you've got?
And let's keep on going. But there are maps that will have modifiers, and I'll explain that in a second. And then we're gonna do like the area boss. So basically, this is the map boss, but then there's like the area boss, which will give you the cinder. But these bosses are pretty easy. I mean, most of them you can basically roll, but the area boss is actually more difficult. It'd be maybe more equivalent to like a pinnacle boss. So we're gonna go and exit this area. And that's basically a map. So again, that was only about a minute, and you're going to have to do whatever the requirement is on the area. So you'll see different areas, like this one will have like 6, and since we just did the Glacial Abyss, we can select a trait card. So we can see what these new chances are for these. So we have Eager over here, which increases the drop rarity. It's a 1-star, but stage attention, I'm not sure what this one is. It's purple. I'm assuming this one's going to be better for a trait card. But we also have a 60% chance for a legendary monster to drop 1 additional legendary gear. I'm going to pick this one. I just literally am selecting it because I'm assuming purple is better than blue. Like, honestly, that's what I'm selecting. Okay, so we have Chaos Invasion attempts used up. We can skip to start the next round. Check this to skip trait deck building. We might talk about this a little bit more later. But basically, there are certain roles on individual areas here. So if I click on this one over here, we can see that we have that one, like card, so to speak, in this area. But you can see it's 1 out of 4, so if I keep on doing this, I will then eventually get that cinder. But we'll go ahead and cut to the boss, so you guys don't have to see me like go through the maps all over again. Basically, yeah, you progress until you get to that amount, then you go ahead and fight a boss. These bosses are pretty tough. Like, they have way more HP, but they have like maybe special drop chances. So that's kind of cool. Maybe if you want to do some targeted farming, that may be an option. So we'll go ahead and go on in. So here's one of the bosses here. But these bosses, they all hit for an insane amount of damage. Like, every single thing that they do does significantly more damage than like anything in the game. They basically want you to learn the boss's mechanic, which is fine. Like, it's respectable, and like I don't mind it. They look pretty cool too. But they have like an insane amount of HP. Jumped at the last second over there.
Not now.
Yeah, there's just a lot of projectiles, a lot of things on some of these bosses that you just got to be aware of. But a lot of times the bosses, they can kill you in anywhere from like 2 to 3 hits. It's very rare that an ability will take more than that many hits to eliminate you. Oh, it's like a channeled ability. I can hit him with my leap slam, get some extra damage in. I can actually get more damage if I'm closer to the target, but I don't know if that's going to be the smartest idea. Unless we're behind it. Like I said, these bosses have just an extraordinary amount of HP. It almost feels like it's meant to be like a raid boss that you're supposed to do in a group. But, ooh, gotta watch out for that. Yeah, it does lots of damage. This ability in particular, it's very hard to get around, because like you saw how many times I was just like trying to jump in the air, not get hit by it. There's just so many like projectiles and so many AoE things on the ground. Sometimes like you're just gonna get hit. Like, it's just inevitable. Can't even see the boss here. Oh, there he is. There's a bunch of stuff on the ground, so just keep on leap slamming. Sometimes what I've noticed is like I end up moving my mouse like downwards to aim, and it just like hovers over these skills. So hopefully that can be something that can be changed. It's like I know what my abilities do at this point. But we basically have a system similar to Fortify. So if I leap slam onto the target, I'll get Fortify. Oh, there's a lot of projectiles in that. Wow. Sometimes you just gotta leap slam around for a little bit. But you can see like how fast we melted the other boss, and then this one is just, I mean, it's supposed to be a lot more difficult. Unfortunately, you have no way to recover flash charges on this. We're on our last flask right now. So life regen can be actually pretty valuable on bosses. It's about halfway though. But the game is fun. Like I could definitely still recommend this game. It's just these bosses. I mean, I'm sure they're meant to be like challenging, right? They'll usually drop something good. I don't think I've ever had a boss like not drop like anything. The only ability in this boss that's like really challenging is the one where he just like moves and there's just a bunch of just icicles come out of the floor. That one can be pretty deadly too. But they just have like an extraordinary amount of HP. I wish they summoned some small stuff though, just so we can refill our like flasks. Or any ability really, because there's more abilities that probably have some sort of recharge mechanic. So what are we at? A few minutes here. Okay, get him down. Oh, try not to get hit by any of those. There's so many that come out. And also there's some like AoE that's just left over. There's spikes on the ground from like previous attacks. Let's see what it drops. Alright, almost getting them down. So close. Whew, got him down. Got a Technique Ember and a Legendary. Let's go ahead and check out what we got. Back to town. And that's kind of how it works. And basically, to sum up the effect of like what happens in these maps. So how it works is there's different like areas that you can go to, and each one of these you'll have to defeat. Like, let's say this one, we're going to do 6 maps. And again, some of these maps will roll with certain things on them. And if you want to re-roll, you can do that too. You can see what you can get as drops. But they have these little orbs as costs to go, and you can just get these orbs by just playing the game in terms of like getting the maps. But I really haven't had that much problems with sustain. But once we get 6 maps completed, we can then fight this Hellfire boss. Now, when we defeat the boss, we not only get the loot, but we get this over here called Cinders. So once we get enough Cinders, because we're gonna have to do this, you only get 1 per like completion, if that makes any sense. Once we get enough of those, other areas will start to unlock. Now this one has like a requirement of I think 30 something. So you can see there is quite a bit of progression. We just have 7, so we defeated basically 7 bosses I think at this point. But that's like the mechanic. But let's go ahead and check out our loot from the boss. So we'll identify it. We got 2 pieces of gear. We got a sword. This one's actually pretty cool because it gives you max 2 resistances as well as a massive amount of armor. And then we just got some boots that just rolled some evasion. But yeah, that's basically one part of the endgame. Alrighty, so in addition to being able to defeat the bosses, this is one thing I want to show you guys that's very important. So if we go over to the trader over here and we go to the exchange option, I'm going to show you guys via the options here, we can put in these beacons. Remember, this is basically, think of it like a map entry fee. So in order to go into a map, we need the beacon, right? So if I put in 3 of the same beacon, I can get a 1 tier higher of the other rank. So I put in 3 rank 1s to get a rank 2. This allows us to go to the additional time marks. Now, what's at the very, very end of this? I don't know if there's some super crazy boss, but if there is, I'll let you guys know, and I'll give you guys gameplay of that like super crazy boss at the end. But that's basically the end game, at least as of right now. Let me know, guys, what you think of the end game in Torchlight Infinite. Really curious to hear your thoughts. I feel like it's kind of generic in terms of like the map modifications, but there may be some things in the game that are going to be a lot more expansive in terms of like what we need to do to set up to get even better rewards. But again, this is like the earlier stages of the end game. But let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on your way out. And if you're new and you do want to see more Torchlight Infinite content, subscribe to the bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. And I'm out. Peace.